tell Congress to pass this critical legislation now.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
ILFB.org. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network.
Ukrainian Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom today, Micaela Harris from the McLean County Museum of History. Micaela, good to see you as always. How are you today?
I'm good. It's always good to see you, Seth.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Always good to have you on the program, and a lot happening at the McLean County Museum of History. Let's start with some exhibits, and of course, the ongoing Mourning McLean exhibit continues. How is that going, Micaela?
It's been great. I think we've had some really good conversations with visitors as they come through to kind of make space to talk about what we like to recognize as one of life's only guarantees, death. It can be quite a taboo topic, but I think that having this display, the whole goal was to kind of open up some space for people to explore that. And we've seen that kind of shine through, and that's been really rewarding. So we're looking forward to being open tomorrow night from 5 to 8 for an extended viewing. The curator of this content, Candace Summers, who is a friend of the show, will be around and available, and we will have an activity for people to partake in that will include a free cookie. So
there you go. So what is the highlight of this exhibit? I mean, Mourning McLean, is it a theme on anything, any one individual specifically?
It does not focus on any one specific person. It looks at death, like perceptions of death and funerary customs in Central Illinois from the late 19th century to the early 20th century. So we're looking at topics of like, what is a wake? Why do we do that? Why is it still around today? And then we have objects all from our collection that are really interesting, various mourning garb, smelling salts. We even have some really cool hair work pieces, which was a Victorian practice of like, you would save your loved one's hair and then turn it into artwork. There is one that is essentially like this harp that's made out of hair, and it's really kind of breathtaking, I guess. I can't imagine how long it took, and all of the fine details that went into it. It's really cool.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
We've got a lot of different objects out on display that help kind of tell that story.
Yeah. Well, and that's the goal, right? Is to tell the stories of people that came before us and the lessons we can learn from them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, very good. So the Mourning McLean exhibit, Micaela, how much longer is this exhibit up for, and just how can folks check it out?
So it will be up through November 21st. Folks can come see it in person at the McLean County Museum of History in downtown Bloomington. We have a lot more information available on our website, mchistory.org, for anyone that wants to learn more as well.
Wonderful. You talked about Candace being the curator of that exhibit. Is an exhibit like that an all-encompassing thing for the museum, where everybody kind of contributes in some way in the preparation for those?
Yeah, I mean, we're a small team, right? And this particular exhibit is a little bit more, it's not like one full room. What we've done is curated all three levels of the museum. We have different display cases. And so all of our display cases are dedicated to this topic. So it's a little bit different than when we do like a full exhibit in a room, like we're going to be doing for our baseball softball exhibit in 2026. But we're a small team, so we all pitch in, right? We have our curator of collections who helped get all of the objects out and get them mounted, and then her and Candace worked together to position them and figure out where they were going to go. We have a curator of historic interpretation who helps with the labels to make sure that all of the information was digestible and easily accessible for people to come up and be able to read it together, to share it with the people that they're with. I work on our graphic design. So for this particular project, I have an ISU intern who's basically all of last semester, her project was to come up with kind of a visual identity for this exhibit. And so she created kind of like a logo mark for Mourning McLean, and then posters, t-shirts, label templates, so that then Candace could pop in the information once her and Maria had finalized that. So yeah, it's definitely a team effort, but Candace led the charge on this one.
Very good. Very good. Well, so and again, one more time, if you don't mind, Micaela, how long the exhibit is up for and how folks learn more.
Up until November 21st at the McLean County Museum of History in historic downtown Bloomington. You can learn more at mchistory.org.
Very good. So another 6-7 weeks, give or take, for that one. And hopefully folks are coming out and enjoying it. And, you teased it for just a minute or just a second there, a new exhibit coming next year, baseball, softball exhibit. I venture a guess this will be very popular. How about this? What's going on there, Micaela?
Yeah, well, I'm just diving into the content really myself, kind of getting up to speed of all the research our curators have been doing on this one. But, McLean County has a very rich baseball, softball history. We have Hall of Famers from the area, really interesting early leagues in the 20th century with connections to the Cardinals. So we really are using this exhibit as a lens through, baseball, the national pastime, if you will, is a great unifier. People from all kinds of backgrounds came together to the field to play. And throughout history, so starting back in around I believe it was 1854 or 1855, do not quote me on it, is when the first baseball rules were written in New York. And then in the later 1850s is when we see the first mentions of it in the Pantograph. The first Bloomington Baseball Club was founded. So we start kind of there, and then we look all the way up to today. So how has the game changed? How have people playing the game? How has that changed? People, how they enjoy the game. We are going to have one of the things I'm most excited about for this exhibit, which may sound kind of silly actually, but I think will be really cool, is the Pantograph. Back in the day, before television, people were interested in baseball games. The major league teams played, and for local people in central Illinois to enjoy the games, the Pantograph had this big baseball scoreboard on the outside of a building in downtown Bloomington, and on the telegraph, they would get the, so-and-so just hit a run to second base or whatever. And somebody would go up on the scoreboard and change. And then people would literally gather and just watch the person change the scoreboard as the game came through on the telegraph. So we are recreating that scoreboard. It will be a magnetic interactive that people can then play around with to kind of understand the function of that, and to again look at how the game has changed as our society has changed. We'll then have another area later in the exhibit. Another thing I'm really excited about is a TV that will have archival video footage from different baseball games. So to see that transition literally play out kind of in front of your eyes, about again, watching, standing in the street, watching a guy switch the scores, to being in the comfort of your living room and watching someone play. And that opposed to playing yourself. So I think there's a lot of really interesting and fun themes in there. We're looking at both baseball and softball. We'll have some interesting content about Title IX, and then obviously the rise of women's sports as well in there. The struggle anytime we do an exhibit is getting the content down, concise enough that it can fit into an exhibit, and then also then making sure that we have the resources that if people want to dive deeper into any particular topic that they can, because there is so much history there that I never realized personally, and I think a lot of people will be really excited to learn about as well.
Yeah, sure. It's one of those things. It doesn't sound like you're hurting for the content to create this exhibit. I know some places they do a special project like this, and they need to call on their community. But it sounds like you've got enough wealth of knowledge within your walls there, Micaela, that you can put this on.
Yeah, and we're having lots of conversations with the community as we develop this exhibit. A couple of weeks ago, we did we called it Baseball Show and Tell, and we invited people to come in and to share their baseball stories, to bring their trophy from back in the day or a favorite baseball that they have. And that was really, really fun to be able to hear from other people, their own memories and associations with baseball and softball. So we are also kind of grappling with how are we going to make sure that we provide the space for the community to be able to share that back with us. The title of the exhibit is More Than a Game, a Community History of Baseball and Softball. We've been researching this topic, I think, in preparation for this exhibit now for 2.5 to 3 years. And we've pulled in a lot of local experts to kind of gather that content and really hope to continue to engage the community as the exhibit is up as well.
That's really cool. That's really cool. You know, it's amazing that it takes so much time to research a topic and find all of that. You know, it's not just like you can go into the archives and type something in and boom, here's this wealth of knowledge that you can dive into. It takes a lot of time, it sounds like, to put these types of things together.
It does. It really does. It's a little bit mind-blowing. We are very lucky to have a wonderful librarian and archivist who do their best to make it easy to type something in and find a bunch of resources. But yeah, it's been a lot of volunteer hours have gone into this. A lot of staff hours have gone into this to really pull the content together and make sure we're doing the topic justice. And again, providing a complete history as much as we can for our community.
Is that the way it is with every project, special exhibit you do, Micaela? I mean, not necessarily 2.5, 3 years of research, but does it take a long time to get the thing ready and all that stuff?
Absolutely. Actually, I'll tell you our exhibit, A Deadly Deception, the Asbestos Tragedy in McLean County, that was our last temporary exhibit. We opened right around this time last year. That exhibit was actually in the work for over a decade. There were various things that happened, COVID being one of them, that delayed that timeline. But that research involved going through case files from a local attorney who represented families in workers' compensation cases. So every time we do an exhibit at the McLean County Museum of History, there is at least 2 years of research that goes into it ahead of time. Prior to working at the museum, I had not worked in a museum before. You know, in my role, I am, again, we're a small team, so we all kind of do different things, but I'm essentially communications, graphic design, that kind of a thing. So to see this back end was really kind of mind blowing to me because there is so much work and so much research and so much time that goes into all of these exhibits.
Right.
And people don't always see that when you go into the exhibit, but I think that that's also part of the magic, if you will, because we're looking at so much data, so many different sources, and then synthesizing it into a story that's digestible and engaging.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I wonder how much, and we need a break here in a second, Micaela. I'll ask this and we'll take that break. You know, I wonder how much technology is changing the way you display exhibits. You know, if you can just create a QR code to say, hey, here's, you know, some articles or here's some information. Are you able to do those types of things with exhibits nowadays?
Absolutely. And we do. I mean, technology has revolutionized the way that we do exhibits. We have our whole Merwin gallery. You interact with QR codes essentially, and we have an online database. But I am really grateful for the addition of technology in these exhibits because it allows us to do one of the things that we're planning for this exhibit is we'll have a digital interactive that is basically like a map of McLean County. And then it will identify different baseball fields over time. And then you click on it and you can see what teams played on this field and from what time period. Is the baseball field still around? If not, what happened to it? And that's something that if we did not have that technology to do and we wanted to put a big map up on the wall, that totally limits the other content that we can put up, you know? So it really has expanded what we're able to do and the information that we're able to share with our community.
Nice. So do we have dates yet for this baseball softball exhibit next year?
I'm gonna be safe so that my curators don't yell at me and say spring 2026. We are hoping for April, and we will make an announcement right at the top of the new year with an official date.
Sounds good. Very good. Well, Micaela, again, where do folks go to learn about all things McLean County Museum of History?
mchistory.org.
Very good. Micaela, let's break here. Come back with some more. Micaela Harris, McLean County Museum of History, my guest on the Zoom. More to come with her on the morning show.
WHOW.
Let's check the markets now. The RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat all slightly higher at this hour. December corn up 3/4, 4.17 1/4. March corn up 1.5, 4.34 1/4. May corn 4.44 up 1 1/4. November beans 10.14 3/4 up 1 3/4. January beans up 2, 10.33. March beans 10.47 3/4 up 1 1/2. December wheat 5.11 1/4 up 2. March wheat up 1 3/4, 5.29 1/4. October bean meal 266.30. That's up $1.60. October bean oil 49.78 up 3 cents. Livestock market October feeders 355.20 down 377. October live cattle down 70 cents 230.40. October lean hogs 98.35 down 7 cents. Energy market November crude oil down 21 cents 61.57. You're listening to the RFD Radio Network.
ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of severe weather coverage across all WHOW platforms, AM, FM, and streaming online, as well as on WEZC, your easy choice for soft hits at 95.9 FM. Whether it's wind, rain, or even snow, you'll stay informed with severe weather updates around the clock. When severe weather strikes, we break in anytime to bring you the critical information you need to keep your family safe. Brought to you exclusively by ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties, your local fire, storm, and water restoration experts.
There's a reason WHOW is the Big 1520 across central Illinois. That's because anytime the sun is up, you can hear WHOW's big signal from Jacksonville to Peoria, from Pontiac to the Indiana state line, and to Charleston and Effingham. Anywhere you travel in central Illinois, take WHOW, the Big 1520, with you in your car, truck, or tractor. Just another reason why WHOW is Central Illinois' news, agriculture, and talk station.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Again, my guest on the phone this morning, or the Zoom this morning, I should say, is Micaela Harris, McLean County Museum of History. And Micaela, as we chat here for this morning, let's just dive into the calendar of events. I know there's a lot going on with the museum. What's coming up?
Yes, there is. So, as I mentioned a little earlier in the segment, tomorrow is First Friday in downtown Bloomington. Always an exciting time. The museum will be open and free from 5 to 8 p.m. and we'll have a craft that involves a free cookie and ties into our current display, Mourning McLean. Then on Tuesday evening, we're having a free program with librarian Bill Kemp that will be looking at an architectural master, a Richard Williams. So for all of our architecture fans out there, that will be a rousing talk that will be live streamed to our YouTube channel as well. If you don't want to make the drive out to Bloomington, you can always join live online via YouTube. Our handle there is MC History Museum. Also, later that week on Thursday, October 9th at 12:10 p.m., we will be hosting Andy Bender, who is the senior counsel at Country Financial. He's going to be joining us for another celebration of their 100-year anniversary. And I'm really excited about this one because he's going to be bringing in about 20 archival items and objects from their internal collections, and he's going to be talking about the history of Country, the Farm Bureau, the Illinois Agricultural Association, and all that they've got going on there. Andy is a wonderful person, a very engaging speaker, so I think that one will be a good time. Again, that is going to be on Thursday, October 9th at 12:10 p.m. Live at the McLean County Museum of History and online via our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/MC History Museum. Then the next week after that, on Monday, October 13th, we're offering free admission all day, 9 to 5, for Indigenous Peoples Day and Columbus Day. So if you've got kiddos that are out of school, it's the perfect chance to come visit the museum and still do a little bit of learning. And then a little bit later in the month, Bill Kemp, our aforementioned librarian extraordinaire, is going to be giving a continuing education class at Heartland. And this one is on Lincoln's lost speech and the founding of the Illinois Republican Party. I've heard him give this presentation before. It is really fascinating, really full of information and all around something that I think is really relevant still today. So that one again is on Wednesday, October 22nd at 6 p.m. The registration for that one goes through Heartland Community College, but if you visit mchistory.org, you can get all of that information really quickly.
Sounds good. Very good. So a lot coming up, and you mentioned the website for all that information. How about social media, Micaela? Do you push out events on social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram? I'm not sure. What all do you do?
We do both. MC History Museum on both platforms there. We do push out event information, and we do have every day of the week, we put out a historic photo with some context. So those are always fun to see too.
That's cool. Yeah, good stuff. Keep folks engaged that way. Very good. Very good. Anything else on the calendar, Micaela, we did not touch on you want to put out there for us?
Yeah, I mean, we got a long list. We're also going to be free on Tuesday, October 28th, all day from 8 a.m. from 9 a.m., to 8 p.m. For National Immigrants Day. If you want to come out and learn about some of the contributions that immigrants have made to McLean County history. Candace will then be doing later in October a program also at Heartland Community College. This is her program entitled Dine with the Dead, Cemetery Customs and Traditions of Days Gone By. So she'll be really, again, kind of diving into some of those mourning practices and some of those Victorian customs that we might think are a little weird today, but have informed the way that we mourn our loved ones today still. And I will end with, on Saturday, November 1st, is our annual Dia de Muertos celebration.
Very good.
This event is one of my favorites every year. We'll have live music and free food and a pretty ornate ofrenda installation that will be pretty cool.
Very good. Well, on that note, Micaela, we'll let you go for the day. Appreciate your time as always. Micaela Harris, McLean County Museum of History, our guest. Network News is now.
WHOW.